Braka, YouTube. That's my other page. This is how it all started. Before they started messing with it. Fiddling, dabbling. I figured we give HSE-TV Entertainment a little break. Start some trouble over here at Hamashiach Productions, the root to how you got everything else. Now, since I can talk to y'all and y'all not babies and y'all not milk drinkers, you want to be in the video? Go ahead. Say hello to the people.
Hello.
So, we have been talking for years, and now things are coming to pass of what the spirit prophesied. Not so much me, it knows the future. I'm just vibing in it. Enough of me.
Now to a News Nation exclusive investigation into a secret government experiment that was carried out in St. Louis. Residents tell us they still remember a mysterious fog. Children would run through it. Mothers would try and close their windows against it. For decades, they all had questions, and now we're seeking answers. The United States Army now admits that it sprayed a chemical that contained cadmium, a known carcinogen, on a neighborhood of more than 10,000 people. Critics say this was done with no warning and no consent. Well, tonight we return to the site of that demolished neighborhood and speak with former residents who believe the government turned them into human test subjects. Although the Army admits that the test happened, it is not admitted to harming the residents. News Nation's Natasha Zubez investigates what was in the fog and why the truth may still be buried.
The fog drifted through the streets like a ghost.
That's exactly what it looked like, a thick fog.
It was summertime and it was hot. We would just run through it as fast as we could and try to just cool ourselves off. It stuck to you.
The spray was so foul as far as the odor. It made some of us have headaches, nausea, dizziness.
That's what I remember. It made me sick.
It wasn't the weather. It was an eerie smoke descending from rooftops, rolling from the backs of trucks.
Regular flatbed truck, but it had a big machine on the back. And it had a big nozzle that really sprayed a fog you couldn't even see through. It was that thick. And it really, we felt it as it would adhere to our skin. And as far as the guys on top of the buildings, they tried to portray them to us as maintenance workers. But we was like, what is a maintenance worker doing? And basically a hazmat suit. And they had masks and goggles.
In the 1950s and 60s, in secret, the U.S. Army sprayed zinc cadmium sulfide into the air of a St. Louis housing project, a largely black neighborhood called Pruitt-Igoe.
It was a lose-lose situation for us in Pruitt-Igoe. We were subjects.
They didn't ask for our permission. We didn't ask for them to spray us. My government used me like I was a guinea pig.
Cannabis. It's not just legal in 38 states. It's a $36 billion global industry.
My government used me like I was a guinea pig.
We're standing at where Pruitt-Igoe used to be here in St. Louis, and it's hard to believe more than 10,000 people used to live here. As we bring our drone up, you can see it's mostly just an empty lot now, overgrown with trees. This used to be filled with 33 high-rise buildings. It was all demolished in 1976. And according to the National Research Council, St. Louis was chosen for spraying experiments because it had similar characteristics to Soviet targets like Moscow in terms of population density and terrain and proximity to a river. The government now admits to a secretive series of Cold War tests, including one dubbed Large Area Coverage. More than 30 tests conducted across the U.S. and Canada, spraying zinc cadmium sulfide from planes, rooftops, and vehicles to simulate how a biological attack might spread, all to prepare for potential warfare against the Soviets.
Many of us been in the military and had top secret clearances. We know how it works.
We have died for America. We have fought for America.
You are a veteran.
I am United States Air Force veteran.
Dr. Starks, you're a veteran as well,
Yes, I am. I'm an Air Force veteran also.
Is there a sense of betrayal here?
Definitely, definitely.
They want to know if those secret tests have anything to do with what they're observing with their own eyes.
I lost my two older siblings to cancer. I lost a brother last month.
I've been diagnosed recently with a rare form of lymphoma.
I had cancer of the left kidney, had partial removal of my left kidney.
Let's also count what you thought was bug spraying or mosquito spray. Nah, you were the mosquito.
News Nation reached out to the Army for answers. They provided a one-page response. It says the Army's own Center for Health Promotion and Preventive Medicine investigated in 1994 and found inhalation exposure would not pose a health risk. They also cite later corroborating reviews, including a 1997 review by the National Research Council. Perhaps they assumed we wouldn't read the NRC's 380-page report, but we did, and the Army's statement doesn't show the full picture. In that 1997 review, the National Research Council explicitly says repeated exposure to zinc cadmium sulfide can cause kidney or bone toxicity or lung cancer if levels are high enough. And they admitted they couldn't fully assess the risk. Why? Because some Army records remain classified, it says, for national security reasons. More troubling, key Army exposure records were missing. And when the NRC asked the Army to supply them, the Army said it couldn't find them. Finally, the NRC considered conducting its own study, but concluded it wasn't feasible. In short, it did not test the site, collect samples, or test residents, and they didn't have access to all the data. Their review was based on what the Army gave them, and what the Army either could not find or withheld. The Army ends its statement to News Nation by saying, quote, none of the reports contained evidence of a radioactive component to the zinc cadmium sulfide dispersion tests. Residents say the secrecy and delays are no accident.
They're waiting us out.
They're waiting on all of us to die.
But that's not even the whole story, as residents demand to know what else could have been in that spray.
They have not come clean with what was in there.
Do you believe that it was just zinc cadmium sulfide in that spray?
No.
No.
We go to the source, a researcher who has spent decades declassifying government documents about these tests. Do you believe the U.S. government sprayed some kind of radioactive material on the residents of St. Louis? I believe that they did. And the government's surprising response to our request to declassify information.
I mean, what the hell?
Plus, renowned activist Aaron Brockovich weighs in. Do you think there's been a lie here, a cover-up here?
It sure looks that way.
The residents are asking for an apology from the government for being experimented on. They are asking for compensation, for health studies for themselves and their children. They're also asking for transparency. They want the government to release all the documents about the spraying. So, Elizabeth, tomorrow night on your show, we will go on a journey to try to declassify the one government document that a key researcher tells.
Now, we'll come back to that. Here we are in our time, right, YouTube? Hamashiach Productions. Let's get it.
I was interviewed by WDSU, something like that, Channel 6 out of New Orleans. I read the article that went with the little blurb she did, and it said the EPA has the mouth of the river fully covered with oil booms, stopping the poison from the Tangipahoa River, the Smitty's explosion, from entering Lake Pontchartrain. I have video on my Facebook page proving that that is not true. In fact, we have a town hall meeting in Roseland, September 9th, to look at the first preliminary test results of air, water, and soil done by Scott Smith. So welcome back to Starkey Farmstead, everybody. My name is Samantha. Hit the like button, drop over in comments, tell me who you are, where you're watching from. Let me show you a video that I just found. This was taken September 3rd, okay? And this is the Tangipahoa River. This is what it currently looks like, friends. Look at that. Those are oil absorbent pads. Hold on, let me get it back to where I can rewind it to the beginning. This is very upsetting. The whole river's poisoned. There's nobody working there. Over 2 million gallons of toxins and smut, and they try to call it oil, but we all know it's unleaded gas. It's antifreeze and all of that mixed together in what my father, who worked in chemical plants for 50 plus years, calls a witch's brew, has been sucked from this river, but they don't care. Why? Because mainstream media is really not picking it up. And the concern for me and my community is what happens when everybody goes home, right?
Per second. Nobody's working. There is oil everywhere. The cleanup needs to be 24/7. This is where people swim. This is where families live. This is where my father used to swim before World War II. This is where my son still used to swim. Change needs to happen. People need to get to work. Make the call. Bring in more help now. This is the Tangipahoa River, September 2nd. Nobody's working. There is oil everywhere. The cleanup needs to be 24/7. This is where people swim.
He's not lying. There was a really bad hurricane a few years ago. We lost water because we're well water. We lost power for 15 days. We lost water for 15 days. My family and I went to the river and we bathed because there was no other option to get clean. It was August, and that was the only place we had to go. There's no community bathrooms in rural Louisiana. Absolutely, Troy. The longer they take to clean it up, the less they have to clean. Let me tell you what happens with things that are heavier than water. They sink. So for the next, 60 years, every time someone steps into this river and they stir up what's on the bottom of the river, that's toxic. This is what's happening in my community. The EPA is boldly lying to people. It's heartbreaking because I don't see the pushback that I would have expected. Let me look up what's going on for you guys, like updates for everybody. I told you guys about the daughter of Smitty's making the little snide comments about, use your resources and simply clean it up. I watched an elderly Black woman yesterday talking on the news about how her pool, her roof, her grass is covered in this black gunk, and there's no one to clean it. Her husband fought in the Vietnam War. Oh, absolutely, Kent. Kent said that he has a friend that's high up in the position in the railroad, and they intentionally covered up East Palestine, Ohio also. This is so bad, you guys. In fact, Scott Smith, the one who did all the independent scientific testing, he said, Samantha, hey, Leslie, he said, I should have told you when you first went to the rivers to record what was happening, to have the right mask on, that this may very well be, because I kept self-exposing to get what they weren't putting out there for people. And I've been sick now for like 4.5 days, running fever, vomiting. I just overloaded myself. Let me get to my Starkey Formstead page so I can tell you guys about the upcoming Roseland. It says First Baptist Church, Hill Street, Roseland, Tuesday, September 9th at 6 p.m. Fire at Smitty's Supply Community Town Hall featuring Scott Smith, an independent environmental tester. So we will be there. I'll definitely be there. And I'll be representing as much as I can. Guys, I'm telling y'all, it's so horrific what they're doing. There was another mini explosion the other day. The tanks that are still standing still have toxic chemicals in them. They have not taken the crap out of these tanks and gotten them off of this. I asked my dad that. Just listen to me real quick. Y'all got to hear me vent, right? Because I'm really upset, man. I am. We have a beautiful community with livestock, and this is where people come to retire. And now we have this. right? Poison land, poison air, poison water. First off, Roseland Montessori and the local public schools have let the kids back into the schools. The schools have not been disinfected properly. Air filters have not been changed. I guarantee it. They brought all them babies back to school. What? Second thing, and then this one gets under my skin. Smitty's is a 60-year-old plant that's been in Roseland, Louisiana for 60 years. Roseland has about 1,000 citizens to the entirety of the town, right? They did not help this community build a fire department. Not a full-time, fully staffed, able to fight every kind of fire that happens fire department. Why are we allowing chemical plants to be built in communities without fire departments? Oh, thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Or is it Liza? Liza Briggs, thank you. Why? That doesn't make any sense. You were making 70 million to 700 million. Yeah, that's a big difference, but that's what it says. For the past 60 years from this plant in Roseland, you never built a fire department. You could have put some money up front to build a fire department and help the people of Roseland write a grant to the EPA, to the DEQ, to any of the federal agencies to match you, and we could have had a working fire department in that community, but they didn't do that. They have been systematically poisoning this community for years. You want to tell me how I know? I looked up how many children are autistic and ADHD in Roseland. 26% of children between the ages of 5 and 17. That's 1 in every 4. Did you hear me? 1 out of every 4 children in Roseland, Louisiana has autism or ADHD? Are you kidding me? And we're not supposed to believe that's environmental? Growing under a poison sky. This will help you clean your soil, your water, and your body. Now, I will say this. I have one more book to auction off. We're leaving. Stephen should be home for lunch in about 5 minutes, and we're leaving for New Orleans to get the results with the CAT scan. It is smashing us. I'm supposed to be able to reapply to be monetized September 10th. If you guys would add that to your prayer list, that the Lord makes a way so I can quit asking everybody to donate $1. It's very frustrating for me right now. And I wish you guys understood that. And I guess it's worse today because I don't feel good. You know, when you don't feel good, like emotionally, you feel unstable. The Bible tells us that, right? Like, you have to slay your flesh. When your flesh gets in the way of your emotions, it makes you say things, do things, behave a way that you normally would not do. That's where spiritual maturity comes in, and the Bible encourages that growth. So I take this and I thank God that everything that I go through is always for one thing, to make me, prepare me for what is coming. Because folks, hear me now. It's coming to a town near you. Whether they release a dam, they direct a hurricane, they decide they don't want to let it rain there anymore. Or they just want to, have a train derailment that dumps toxins that produce 2-headed puppies. Yes, that's a real thing. Look it up. It happened in East Palestine, Ohio. So, I see all these YouTubers starting to pick up this story about Roseland. And I'm like, really? I don't see any of y'all down here trying to help us. You know what I'm saying? Our river is a toxic witch's brew of sludge. Alligators are covered in it. Nobody's doing anything. The EPA finally had to admit that there was arsenic in the water and lead. Yeah. But it's what they're not admitting. That bothers me most. Because you don't know it until you know it. And if you don't test for it, it's not there, right? Just so much. I've had so many people reaching out, unsure of what to do with their land, with their livestock, with their livelihoods. I don't know. But I don't feel good today. Again. I just got through running some errands in preparation to head to New Orleans, but I don't know, you guys. I just wanted to say hi. All right. By the way, if you support our channel with even $1, you get the monthly newsletter and you'll be on the next Zoom.
So, you already know the water, the air, the ground is poison. There's still people out there thinking that they can buy and sell something because they own. When they say they're going to control everything, they will. How many people have not been keeping up with the pages? I told you, every social media has 2 pages. Backup system, because we'll be giving others a break. You'll miss out. It's your choice, your life, you live it. Raka.